presence, it's another day. Billions will kneel and pray. Anything to aid escape from the world so cold and gray.
That's a good boy.
Hey, welcome back to the Bones and Tubs podcast. I'm fucking ready.
I'm ready too.
Ready to go. If this is the first time you've listened to the Bones and Tubs podcast, give you a quick synopsis. We're Emmy nominated. We've got the Nobel Congressional Prize of Jesus from the Congress.
That was a toast.
Yeah. And this podcast is solely about the vegan furry lifestyle. We, typically talk about the vegan furry sex life, cat box habits, things like that. We're glad you joined us.
Hot tub furry parties. The best.
Yes. Not really.
How to take care of your costume. Well, I'm sorry, costume. Your second skin.
Your second skin, yeah.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Sorry. Triggered myself.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Bones and Tubs podcast, we're all about the occult, truth, and dick jokes. That's pretty much it.
I mean, yeah, we talk mostly about, the hidden things in conspiracy. Well, what was someone called conspiracy? I don't call it conspiracy because I think that word is given a tainted view. We're more about, I like to think, truth. At least giving you alternative facts.
Passio talked about the word conspiracy.
Yeah.
Perspire? Or what is it to breathe?
Respirate?
Yeah, respirate. It comes from that root word.
Mm-hmm.
And something to do with three or more. So it's basically the definition of three or more people coming together with same breath, same ideas.
Copy.
Conspire.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah.
But you're right, it has been bastardized.
You need more than two people to conspire.
Yeah.
There we go.
The truth.
I think we need to give a shout out to a couple of new Patreon.
2 new patrons this week.
God damn.
Getting it in. All at the same time frame. We have new $10 patron, Oregon Knife Guy.
Look at you.
He didn't think we were going to shout him out, but
we're going to shout him out because that's what we do.
Now.
You said $10?
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah. Getting it in. He said he found us on one of our, I think it was an Instagram ad maybe.
Nice.
And he started binge listening.
That's how a lot of people end up doing it.
During a road trip. So, we're glad to have you. We're glad that we didn't make you, just throw your phone out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck these guys.
But it seems like a lot of people, when they come to us, they're like, man, I just fucking listened to your back catalog. You need to do this now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. That's great.
Totally cool.
I love that. Especially considering, I think of our early stuff, and it's we kind of really didn't know what direction we were going to go in.
Right.
And it's it's amazing that you listened to all of that, and yet you still came back.
I always tell everybody to listen backwards.
That seems the best.
I wouldn't say that I'm ashamed of the old work, but it's just we are.
Listen to the last 4 or 5 episodes, and then go to the beginning and work your way up, and you'll see the evolution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like watching. It's like the proper order to watch Star Wars. You know what I mean? You don't start with 1, 2, 3 because that's embarrassing.
Right. It's embarrassing.
You start with 4, 5, 6, and then you work your way backwards.
Get a good context.
Yeah. You need to get an idea of we were in our infancy then. We were still forming the soul of the show,
right.
And we had to figure out where we were going with it.
Alchemy,
Yeah, exactly.
He wanted us to talk about this. I wasn't hip to this. Just down this deep dark rabbit hole I've been going down with natural law. I've not been paying too much attention with politics, other than to just say fuck government in general.
Yeah.
But he wanted to know what we thought about the Saudis pulling in Yemen with U.S. approval and collusion.
See,
do you know anything about that?
No. So, and that makes me think we got a dude who just contributed. He contributed a fair amount of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
I would go on to say that, honestly, if you're listening right now, how about, because I just found out about this morning, and I was still compiling research for today's show, Oregon Knife Man, how about we get back with you next week, and we're going to talk about the Saudi-Yemen thing.
We will do that. Give it the proper attention it deserves.
Yeah, because I don't want to go in half-cocked right now and say some dumb shit like, fuck them fucking motherfuckers.
Right. I will say this, though. As far as I know, if nothing changes with me in the next week to become more steady, I would prefer that we leave everybody that's not us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it's a different age, and we got nuclear weapons.
But we could still talk about other governments' bullshit, though.
Right. I just meant, where he talked about U.S. approval and collusion. I just don't.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm totally not on giving other governments shit or anything really.
Yeah. So thank you, Organ Knife Man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We thank you very much.
We hope you continue to enjoy the show.
And all of you out there listening, before we get started on the topic of the day, I just wanted to thank all of you from the bottom of our hearts. You've made our numbers go up exponentially, and it's crazy. And especially in the last, it seems like month and a half.
I was blown away just by today.
Yeah.
Yesterday's downloads were fucking crazy.
It's just gone crazy.
I love it.
Me
Keep
too.
It up. Keep sharing the word. Share us like food at a barbecue.
And no telling, the show's still evolving, so no telling where it goes eventually.
All right, eventually
I would eventually love to do like interview shows and stuff like that too.
We need to figure out a phone line or a cell phone.
We can figure something out.
I was thinking too, not just a little inside business, a little inside baseball.
Yeah.
But if we found, because I sent you a link sometime in the last 7 days about Tim Ferriss's list for things that he uses.
Yeah.
Like he actually sends microphones to his guests, which we're not to that level.
No.
However, some of the recording equipment I thought was different. Like we could afford to try 2 of those microphones, I think. Maybe 2 cords, like just to try the sound change.
Yeah.
But we could either try like a cheap cell phone with a decent speaker ability from like Ting or somebody that doesn't cost hardly anything to operate, or we could do a phone line and get one of those like conference phones.
That'd be cool.
Just
put a microphone on it or something.
Yeah, like you could fucking stick it upside down.
Sorry, folks, we're talking about hardware.
You might not even hear this.
But you're listening to our show, and this isn't skewed from the normal format of the show. Right. We go off the goddamn rail.
We're fucking madmen.
I don't think there is a rail. We're kind of off-road at this point.
Yeah, we've careened off the cliff, and we're trying to bring all of you with us.
No, we had another contributor.
We did. I can't remember. I think we had a name for him before, but this contributor, I'll just say, is J. Colo.
Sounds good to me.
It's his YouTube channel name. He just started the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah? What's he talk about?
He's doing GoPro videos of different things.
You know, it'd be really great because he is an engineer, correct?
Yes.
We could get him on the show one time for some expert shit if we ever wanted to go down that path.
Right. I wanted his expert opinion on 9/11, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, different story.
He does GoPro videos, and I think he's got 2 or 3 up right now. He just started.
So go check him out,
yeah,
J. Colo.
J. Colo.
Also, just to...
Thank you for your contribution.
As I say, thank you for your contribution. We appreciate it. Also, I wanted to throw out there, Ryan Simpson, the guy who makes our music.
New album
out.
Boom.
Go check it out. Go buy it. It would be great.
I just shared his link on Bones and Tubs Facebook page.
I'd love to plug the shit out of him because that dude...
I'd love to plug the shit out of him, too.
He didn't think twice about letting us use his music on our show.
Right.
Which is great, and I love his music.
We hope it becomes symbiotic. We help him. He helps us.
Exactly.
Love.
Meteoric.
Voluntarism.
Yeah, right? But, welcome to the show. It's fucking still April here in Ohio, and it's actually warmer, which is great.
It's supposed to get sunny today at some point.
I know. It's almost 60. I got baseball practice I got to go to tonight.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you like this new track jacket I got?
I do. I noticed
that's my assistant coach track jacket.
Nice. I do notice it's not a cardigan, which is what I'm used to you wearing.
Yeah, well, this is my sporty cardigan.
Okay.
I mean, a track jacket is basically a cardigan, except a little bit sportier.
A little sporty. Yeah.
Sporty.
I like it. You need to get matching pants.
Oh, don't worry. I've got navy blue shorts to go with it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm supposed to go pick up my shirt, like my team shirt, and my hat today. So I'm gonna look like all the way decked out,
on fleek.
I'm gonna look like the assistant coach that I deserve to be.
Do you think they make softballs or like balls where they're actually flasks?
That'd be amazing.
You could like have one. I could see that picture in my mind.
Well, it's funny is seems like practice always coincides with Wednesday. Wednesday is always podcast day. Wednesday is also the only day of the week where I imbibe in alcohol.
Mr. Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know.
So before I go to coach's practice, mind you, I'm sober by that point.
Of course.
I do brush my teeth.
Yeah. That equals sobriety.
And chew and chew some gum.
Yeah.
No, I'm usually pretty good. I'm good by the time we get there. But I was joking with Toe Beans last week and said, because I was still a little tipsy on the way over, but I was fine by the time we got there.
Of course.
I was like, it's okay. I was like, this is like me being Walter Matthau Bad News Bears. I'm just going in like, all right, take some fucking laps and go do this shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. Like any youth practice you went to, there was always that guy. Fuck, our high school band director got lit every time we had like anything, a meet or
he had to. When you're dealing with that many kids in a space, I don't care.
That we were fucking terrible.
Oh, we were monsters.
Terrible.
Like, I'm not afraid to say it now. Like, we were like, you got to think like. You know, as we're adults now, we try to take care in what we do and blah, blah, blah. There was no care. The only care we took was to fuck with people back then.
Right.
That's where we put all of our care into.
Listen, I've got a fucking confession for everybody in the Bones and Tubs podcast. I didn't know how to read sheet music. I memorized the basic, what was it, the scale?
Yeah.
That we did?
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, I was just fucking
just
going by
along
ear.
with it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's cool. I'm not going to be mad at you for it.
Oh, man. No wonder that dude drank, you know?
Yeah. Considering what he was dealing with.
I just joined the...
Hey, you did learn steps, though, because we were in the marching band.
Did.
So we did shows.
There were some notes I knew. If they were involved with that basic scale, I knew the notes. You know what I mean?
As soon as a different scale was incorporated, it was over with.
Yeah,
right?
I just went by tone.
Yeah. It sounds right.
Yeah. You see, his wayward eye would occasionally land on me. He'd be like, what is he doing? Shit
we
the
mean
bed.
well.
We did.
But today's topic, to get back on the subject, is a well-trodden topic. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the first time nobody's done it. But, you know, we decided we wanted to do this simply because the last pattern of episodes, I feel, and I think my partner feels, we kind of teetered on the negative, right? The negative aspects of either occultism or black government nonsense, right?
Yeah.
I should say dark government. I don't want to trigger anybody. But,
Black.
But secret government, that's better.
Yeah.
Secret government shit.
The cabal.
Yeah. Which today even kind of encapsulates that a little bit, but we're talking about somebody who we both believe was kind of a bit of a hero.
Yes.
Today's episode is about Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Anyway, Edison's a fucking cocksucker.
Before we start, Edison's a bitch.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that.
He did invent the phonograph.
And just to throw this out there, I don't know if you got that in your notes or not. When Edison died and they did a big thing in the New York Times.
Shit. Yeah.
Tesla had a section in there because they, like when someone real important dies, they'll like have different people from fields weigh in on this and how in their lives and stuff. Tesla, out of like 30 different people that wrote, was the only one that gave a negative obituary.
That's awesome.
Okay, but anyway, so let's start with Tesla, the man.
So Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in Croatia. He was born during a bad lightning storm. And what I think is awesome is that the midwife presiding over the birth took this as a bad omen, and she declared to the mother post-birth that this would be a dark child or a child of darkness. Stupid bitch.
Nah, and you want to think this is apocryphal, but if he was born during a lightning storm, it just seems ironic.
He's going to light up the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Illumination, physically.
Mm-hmm.
Goes forward, like he had a really interesting childhood and young adulthood. I guess he figured out hydroelectricity before he even went to school. I mean, I don't know. He went down to a local stream, they said, as a boy, and he set up hydroelectric, just a model, right?
Yeah.
So he figured out that electricity could be garnished by the flow of water.
Yeah.
Just as a 6-year-old. But anyway, while in school, and even at a young age, Tesla possessed an eidetic, I think that's it, or photographic memory.
Yeah.
He was able to solve calculus problems without writing them out at all.
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, he was so good at it that his professors said he was cheating originally. So I'm sure they found out wrong. They found out they were wrong eventually.
Oh, definitively, yeah.
The gift later evolved into Tesla being able to remember entire books. So he would read books and just be able to quote you page 6.
Yeah.
After graduating high school early, Tesla had a brush with death. I think at the age of 17, he had cholera. And what's funny about this to me, he said that he would be able to survive this, but only if his dad let him change his course of study through college. His dad wanted him to either be in the military or he wanted him to be a priest. So he's like dying on the couch. And he's like, I can only live Dad gets off my dick. You know what I mean? So his dad said okay, and he went into cure. You know, he got out of fucking cholera.
Yeah.
And I also wrote down here in the notes that I wanted to draw a comparison to Hitler's father.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody knows the story of Hitler, which we could do a show on him eventually.
Man.
But he had, he loved art.
Yeah.
You know? And he had two interests. Art and nationalism. So, when he told his dad he wanted to go to art school, Hitler's dad was like, suck my geek. You know? And we got what we got.
Yeah.
Luckily, Tesla's father let him fucking do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Tesla's dad. Tesla's father agreed, and despite being bedridden, Tesla quickly recovers. So this is something I did not know about Tesla. If you fast forward to his time in university, he went to study engineering. He achieved the highest grades possible and could speak 8 languages by the time he was...
Yeah, he's a polyglot.
Yeah.
He can speak multiple languages, which in this day and age is actually almost unheard of.
Right.
Well, at least...
Can't even say rare. It's probably like super ultra rare.
In America, though.
Well, yeah.
In other parts of the world, it's a little bit more common.
We're still trying to figure out what to do with Tide Pods.
We still rely on the imperial system, so, you know.
Right. His professors called him a star student of the first rank. By the end of his time at university, Tesla claimed to have worked from 3 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. daily. And this caused his professors to write letters to his dad and his mom stating that this work would kill him. Because that's...
Oh, yeah. Well, he kept that work ethic his entire life, didn't he? I mean,
yeah,
like
sure.
he claimed he only slept 2 hours a night and occasionally dozed.
Yeah.
To quote unquote recharge the battery. That's what I read.
Hashtag micro naps.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, he was otherworldly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just I try to think about, like, I bitch and moan about the sleep schedule of a new father.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker was living harder than I'm living, and he chose to.
Yeah.
I'm soft.
That, and he only ate like 1 meal a day.
Soft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Now, here's what I found interesting. In the later part of his college career, he got all this high praise, you know, and he had absolutely no problem doing the work. It was all, I mean, he was just showing up and fucking raping right through it. But once he started to get all this high praise, Tesla, for some reason or another, just said, fuck college.
He said he was done.
He was done. He didn't need it. And then he became addicted to gambling.
I saw that. Yeah.
That blew my fucking mind. I didn't know that, which I wrote this down as a sidebar because it was one of my questions of concern that I don't understand. All of Tesla's life's work was done to promote humanity.
Yeah.
He died penniless and alone.
And if you look at the record, he had at times a lot of private wealth.
Yeah.
Like
But he poured it all back into his work.
He poured it into his work, exactly. Like he wasn't like, and the thing is, he wasn't a social person. He didn't he wasn't big on going out and having big parties and stuff like that either. Like
right.
He would do it more or less just to keep the money coming in the first place.
Yeah. So I don't understand, and I have a hard time. I couldn't find anything that led me to understand why he would be addicted to gambling.
You know what I think it is? And this is my personal opinion on the matter, and I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. Considering his mind and considering what he was into, gambling was him trying to figure out that, well, one, he probably already knew that gambling, there is no such thing as luck or chance.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just, it's something incalculable. So that's what I think that maybe be a reason for why he was so, we say addicted.
Yeah.
But I think it was him trying to figure out how it worked.
Right, I see. Okay, well, that makes more sense.
And it wasn't even, I don't even know if it was even about money. It could have just been about figuring out
the system.
More or less like he was a old age card counter.
Yeah.
More or less. You know what I mean?
But he was fucking terrible at it, which blew my mind too, because it seems like he could put his mind in anything. But hopefully that was just the universe's way of putting him on track.
Yeah.
They said one time when Tesla had lost every bit of money that he had, he went to his mom, and his mom knew how to break him of the quote-unquote addiction. She gave him a roll of bills and said, go and enjoy yourself. The sooner you lose all we possess, the better off you will be. Tesla gave her the money back and never gambled again. Powerful.
Yeah.
So, in order to preserve his reputation and cover up the fact that he dropped out of college, he cut all ties off with his family and friends in 1878. He did this so quickly that there were reports from his friends that they believed he had drowned in a river. while he was vacationing in northern Croatia. In 1880, he traveled to Budapest and then to America. He had it in his mind that his goal was to work with the great Thomas Edison.
Ugh.
Right.
Little did he know.
Little did he know that he was about to get long dick style.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1880, he traveled to Budapest and then to America, arriving with only 4 cents in his pocket. He began doing a few odd jobs before working with Thomas Edison in 1882. Just a word on Thomas Edison. Everybody kind of refers to him as the father of the light bulb. Really, all he did, he was just kind of like the...
First of all, he
had the cash, and he would buy the ideas.
That's more or less what he
steal them.
was. Yeah, he bought people out of their ideas.
I think
more
the
or
only
less.
2 things that he gave to humanity, he created the phonograph and maybe video recording, something like that.
But that's one of those things where, like, okay, so all the ability was already there. He merely just put the shit together.
Right.
I don't
I mean,
really apply too much to Edison.
I like the idea that he at least was able to gather ideas and put them together in a commercial way, because that's what everything's all about. It's money, you know? Fuck humanity, apparently. But anyway, father of the light bulb, Thomas Edison, went on to create, quote-unquote, the light bulb with the ideas that he had either bought or stolen from 22 other men. So, I mean, he improved it a bit. Whatever. Anyway, this isn't about Edison. Fuck Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
In 1885, just 3 years after being employed by Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla had seen the direct current or DC motor that Edison was using, and he improved upon it, creating alternating current motor,
the induction motor, which is possibly one of the most important inventions ever made in the history of mankind.
Oh, for sure. They said that the DC motor was like super ineffective. You would have had to have a powerhouse every several hundred feet.
Yeah.
You had cables fucking going everywhere, and these cables weren't small. They were fucking like the size of your arm.
Yeah.
And they were sparking, these engines, and they were just dangerous. But anyway, Thomas Edison...
more or less, he'd put all of his money behind DC.
Yeah.
And said DC was the way to go.
He didn't want to admit...
That he was wrong.
So when he saw Tesla... Let me backtrack. Tesla had shown him his conceptions, right?
Yeah.
Edison promised to pay him $1 million, today's currency.
Mm-hmm.
If he could do it. Once Tesla figured it out, got everything put together, created the AC motor, he presented it to Edison and asked for his money.
Yeah.
And Edison just said, "You don't understand our form of humor here in America. I'm not giving you $1 million." He offered him a $10 an hour raise.
Fuck that.
So at that point, Tesla was like, why don't you eat this bag of dicks here? I'm going to go off and do my own thing.
Did you write down how much time Edison put into trying to dissuade people from attempting an alternating current?
I didn't put the time, but I did find out how he did it exactly.
Oh, he did all sorts of fucked up experiments to try to prove that alternating current was far too dangerous to use. And
right. Well, I got a good story about that.
Okay.
The rising tide that was to be referred to later on as the electrical revolution was already underway. Apparently, the amount of change in financial ability to get wealth at that time vastly dominates the amount of money that people made during the dot-com era.
Yeah.
Because, you think electricity was not in any house.
Yeah.
At least not in most houses. And that time was coming.
Yeah.
People wanted it, and it was on the way.
With the advent of lights and refrigeration.
Personal use for cooking and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That time from the electrical revolution, once everything had been put into place, it is probably what was, in my mind at least, responsible for the rise in America becoming the superpower that it is, at least financially.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to understand that today, too, because everybody that's alive, obviously, for the last fucking 2 or 3 generations, were born into a world with electricity at the flip of a switch.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what that would be like. Going from the time before to the time after is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
After Thomas Edison financially raped Nikola Tesla, he began searching for financial backing in other ways to support his AC work. In the interim, he was forced to take on a job of digging ditches for $2 a day, the equivalent of $50 in today's cash. Tesla at that time was only quoted as saying that the work was painful. I couldn't imagine somebody with that mindset having to dig a ditch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking crazy.
One of the most burgeoning minds of their time, digging ditches.
Right. Tesla was eventually able to secure a contract with Westinghouse, putting Tesla in direct competition with Edison, which is awesome, because fuck that dude.
Yeah.
DC systems, there's no competition there, really.
Mm-hmm.
So So with Tesla being in direct competition with Edison, this continued for a few years. By 1893, Edison and his backers had hoodwinked Tesla several times, either by stealing his ideas, patent suppression, or what we're about to get into,
scare tactics.
Through public relations assault.
Yeah.
Instead of bow out gracefully or admit, that his fucking shit was inferior and taking on the AC model and paying him what he should have paid him because he promised it to him, but his word didn't mean anything, Edison went around the neighborhood, around his office. He found a group of school children, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know about this?
No, I don't know about this.
Fucked me up.
Okay, let's hear it. Shit. I want to hear it.
So he got this mob of school kids, and he promised them 25 cents for every pet that they could steal from the neighborhood.
Jesus.
They were taking cats, dogs. There were stories going around the neighborhood in this time around Edison's office that, like, there was some fucking crazy shit going on. Mm-hmm. Extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Some otherworldly being taking these pets. No, Thomas Edison. Paying a fucking 25-cent tab to anybody that bring him a pet. And then he used this. All of a sudden, the pets reappeared in the public square, and he electrocuted them to death using an alternating current electric chair type thing. Father of the electric chair, yes. Father of the light bulb, no.
Yeah.
So he would kill these pets to show everyone how dangerous Tesla's AC motor was.
Yeah.
Fucking psychopath. Mm-hmm. And a dick. Tesla responded to the public relations attack by shooting alternating current through his body at the 1893 World Fair while he was holding light bulbs to show that it could go through your body if used in the right way and power.
Yeah.
Because he was on some next level shit.
Which would take us into the notion where he was trying to take it to the next level, which was, he was talking about that even then, the notion of wireless electricity.
Right. I mean, after the World's Fair, he pretty much gained massive public support.
Yeah.
And Edison, on the other hand, only fell. Mm-hmm. Because people understood that he was a shitty human being. I would imagine, though, that it was probably before the World's Fair that people started to hate that cocksucker because he electrocuted their pets.
Yeah, that, and he electrocuted an elephant as well.
Yeah.
That's a very famous video. You can go on YouTube and watch it.
I've watched it.
An elephant that I think it killed somebody. So,
sentence him to death.
Like, we can't save this elephant, so we're going to kill it. And I wish I could remember the name of the elephant. I want to say it was like...
I know what it is.
What is it?
Harambe.
Oh, was it Harambe?
Dicks out for Harambe the elephant.
So,
1893.
Yeah, you could go look at this video of them killing a goddamn elephant.
Yeah.
Just to prove that alternating current was too dangerous. But it wasn't dangerous. It just meant that...
Well, it's all about how they used it.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that he created to include Wi-Fi, like what we have now, the bands that we have, and we just did an episode on 5G. These bands, these levels that they're broadcasting the frequency on are a bastardization of what Tesla wanted. Tesla had figured out, I can't remember the other doctor's name. There's a guy that still does, he's dead now, his work still does like frequency modulation for cancer cures. Mm-hmm. Like Tesla had everything figured out to where, with the exception of X-rays, the power could be used in a non-harmful way.
Which, speaking of X-rays, did you know that it's purported, it's not official, but it's purported that Tesla actually took the first X-ray but didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
It was with Mark Twain, actually, the writer, because him and Mark Twain were actually really good friends, which is weird because Tesla didn't have too many friends, but Mark Twain was one of his friends. And there's a photo of Mark Twain holding one of these gas tube bulbs, right? And
it's illuminated.
But like I said, they didn't realize at the time what they were doing, but it's hard. The picture is very dark and blurry. But they said that in the corner there's like a chest that you can it's like semi-transparent. Mm-hmm. So it's actually...
Yeah, it's crazy. Shooting X-rays.
Yeah, Mark Twain didn't know at the time, but he was getting blasted with X-rays. I
got a good part on X-rays here in a bit, too. Back to the World Fair real quick. The 1893, that pretty much marked the change in humanity.
Yeah.
That most people adopted or began adopting the AC motor. Tesla rose like a fucking rocket in popularity. People loved him because he brought fucking electricity into their homes.
Yeah.
And the way it was headed was that it would go that way, eventually free, because he was able to figure out free energy system with Tesla Tower. But in a bit of cosmic justice, Edison summarily fell out of the public's good graces, and he also some of his fellow board members, General Electric. So after a series of mergers, he was no longer in control of General Electric. Go eat a dick.
Yeah.
During the war with Edison, the War of the Currents, Tesla had also created various size motors, transformers, and transmission technologies, resulting in 25 of the most valuable patents since the creation of the telephone. Many of these inventions are actually still used today. They're the standard. Despite the elites or the cabal's attempts to completely and entirely scrub Tesla's name out of history books.
Yeah.
He still is the creator of all those patents.
And that's the thing. I think that's why we did an episode on him is that I think only in the last decade, really, have people really begun to uncover how much of his work has just been buried.
I truly hope that there are a lot of you that hear this and just find out about Tesla for the first time. Because I remember when I first found out about him and I was fucking blown away.
Yeah.
How did this guy create so many things that positively affected humanity?
Think about it. I mean, we're talking about
him.
A dude who was at the forefront of X-ray, dude that was at the forefront of electricity, dude was at the forefront of wireless technology,
right?
Whether it be wireless communication or wireless electricity, which he exhibited multiple times. And the fucking crazy part is that we're living in 2018 and we don't have wireless electricity.
Oh, well, we do, but it's not free.
Yeah. And also free technology. He was also okay. So this is where there's a few certain things about him. Like, okay, so he didn't believe that there were subatomic particles, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think it was possible. He didn't like the whole notion of electron or anything like that. Which the thing is I don't discount him because he had a different theory going on. I think it might have been lumped in the fact that at the time, mainstream scientists were saying, this is what it is. There's no such thing as ether, which he also was a proponent of, was ether. He understood, and that's where his free energy model came from.
Right. Was
the notion that you can draw energy from ether.
There's a lot still that we haven't figured out from his work.
Totally.
To this day. So, the ether thing, I fully believe is real.
Yeah.
But that's a side note, I guess.
And he also came up against Einstein when it came to certain notions of relativity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which some things have been proved, some things have been unproven.
Yeah.
Like I said, just because he wasn't right 100% of the time doesn't make me discount him because he was right a lot of the time.
Yeah. The last thing that I wrote down here about Tesla, sadly, I didn't get into the more conspiratorial side of things. I was hoping maybe you knew some of that.
I got some stuff.
Good. I wrote down 6 of his inventions that have changed the world that most people don't know that he created. Number 1, Tesla invented radio. He first demonstrated this theory that you could transmit voice or information, I guess you should say, over the airwaves. And he demonstrated that in 1893 through some of his talks.
This is before Marconi. Marconi did it in 1898.
Well, it's funny. Tesla was quoted when Marconi had broadcast his first signal, and he said, "Marconi's doing a lot of great work. He's using 22 of my patents." So, eat a dick.
Yeah.
Second invention was remote-controlled motors. This was in 1898. He had assembled a crowd. I believe it was in New York, but I'm not 100% sure. And he had a remote-controlled boat.
Yeah.
And he was wirelessly controlling this boat through the water.
Oh, that's legit. Yeah, he had remote control wirelessly. Yeah.
Just to show what this did to the people at the time. It was so fucking crazy to think that you could remotely control another thing that people came up with 3 theories. They said he was basically a witch. He was using fucking magic. That he was using telepathy, or he had a fucking trained monkey to operate the boat.
Yeah.
Inside the boat. Number 3, we've already talked about. He was the inventor of X-rays. The good thing about this, too, that involves shoving a dick in Edison's mouth philosophically.
Yeah.
Edison took X-rays and thought that they could, he purported all these things that they could do. First of all, he thought they were safe. Second of all, he thought they could cure blindness and do all sorts of magical shit, kind of like a Quicksilver bath. Take a bath in mercury. It's good for you.
Yeah.
But he shot one of his employees full body with X-rays.
Yeah.
And eventually that employee had to have their arms amputated and died of cancer.
Nice.
And then he shot himself in the eyes with X-rays because he, vision problems. And later on, when asked about X-rays, he declined to comment. He said that they scared him. So, here we go again. Let's see. Number 4, he created hydroelectricity. Like I said before earlier in the episode, he he pretty much did this when he was like 6.
Yeah.
He just went down to the stream and put together a spin wheel.
It's just the notion of kinetic energy. You know what I mean? Like anything in motion,
Right.
you can harness power from that. You
He's
know what I mean?
responsible for the dams that power, cities.
There's a big statue of him at the Hoover Dam, or not Hoover, at Niagara Falls. Did you know that?
I didn't. I need to go there. I've never been.
Yeah, because he went up to Ontario and helped them with their hydroelectric power.
That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Number 5 was one of my favorite devices that we'd never see anymore ever. And it was apparently really simple to make. The earthquake machine. Did you?
No, I didn't hear about this.
He was doing tests in a building in New York City, and he had a device. They don't say exactly how large it was, but he did say in his journal that he put it in his pocket. And somehow he had used the theory of the Earth's resonance. So he was on to that wireless ether technology. He matched the frequency of the machine to the building, and there were steel workers upstairs doing some work, and they came downstairs freaking the fuck out because they thought there had just been an earthquake.
Yeah.
When he just set the machine down, set it to the building's frequency, and let it go.
Yeah.
So this got the attention of the police.
Yeah.
They came to the building to see what the fuck was going on because all these workers are running out talking about an earthquake, and everybody was reporting the building shaking. So he picks the machine up, puts it in his pocket, and walks the fuck away. He said, if given 10 more minutes, I could have brought that building down in a pile of dust.
Interesting. So, okay, what was that the last one, or was there one more?
One more, number 6, the Tesla Tower.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite stories, too, because this is shortly after, I believe, that he got the contract with Westinghouse. Westinghouse gave him money. He created a power plant.
Yeah.
He ran wires from the Westinghouse power plant to his Tesla Tower. The idea was that using the Earth's ionosphere, he would be able to blast electricity up from the tower into the ionosphere, and it would travel around the Earth. And every time it came back, he would hit it again, sending it back, creating a powered ionosphere that would create free energy for everybody on the planet. And the first trial run that he had with this Westinghouse tower, somehow it came back through the tower, through the wires, and blew up the Westinghouse power plant. And Westinghouse was like, listen, motherfucker, I'm not giving you any more money until you fix this shit. So he had to go back and fix the Westinghouse power plant. But if you look through mainstream history, which the elites have scrubbed him from, they said, that would never work. That would never work. That's why we don't have free energy.
Yeah.
Eat a dick.
Yeah, and that kind of segues into a lot of the stuff I did, which was the conspiratorial sides of it. And the notion is that, so throughout his history, there were multiple times when there were certain patents that, he had patents in multiple countries, that over time would expire and people would snatch them up. And this actually ties into our most current president, the 45th president of the United States. That's President Trump. His uncle, John Trump, actually, when Tesla died, the U.S. State Department went into his apartment and went into his safe and took documents. And John Trump was the one who they gave the documents to examine. And at the time, of course, he said, there's nothing in here that we can use. Because that's what he's going to say. He's not going to say, oh, wow, we found some shit that will just completely change humanity itself. He's not going to say that. We all know that.
Hey, guys, I found things that will positively help humanity.
Yeah. Hey, I found out how to do that wireless energy thing. Free energy.
Are you going to get into the conspiracy theory about time travel?
Okay. I didn't really get into the time travel stuff. Most of my stuff involves the notions of flight, because there's links between the Sonora Aero Club, which is an Austrian group, and how the Trumps are tied to that. But there was this club that apparently there's a lot of rumors circulating around them that they were creating flying machines, and this is, mind you, back in the 1850s, up through that time.
Eat a dick, Red Brothers.
Yeah. That they were creating flying machines long before that, and there is Tesla patents involved in this, because he came along and changed the whole fucking scene. Because when you have things like, he demonstrated it multiple times, like wireless energy, right? Wireless electricity.
Yeah.
So he would literally, like at an exhibition, he did this so many times. He would walk into the room, turn on the machine, and hold up a light bulb in his hand, and it would just blink on. He understood that we could have wireless technology. Not only would it save any company willing to do it, but it also would ultimately create free energy, which that's the problem. Nobody in power wants to give anybody free energy.
No, there's actually a theory I heard not too long ago that kind of boils down money, right?
Yeah.
Money, all these countries on the earth are in debt. To who? To bankers.
Yeah.
The idea basically that if you boil it down, money is just a slave tool used for buying energy.
Yeah. More or less.
Which, if we could have had free energy back in the 1800s, early 1900s, the whole banker model, the whole modern day slavery would cease to exist.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were no power players that involved covering up any patents or anything like that.
Now, I would say, there's certain parts of him that, you can, I don't know. It's hard to describe, because if you look at, his relationship with Edison wasn't good. Mm-hmm. And if you look at most contemporary history, you look at Edison as being, the inventor of Western civilization in the modern era, right?
Yeah.
But, he... Later on, like I said, we were talking about the show. I didn't want to get negative or anything, but here's the problem. He's a master of the material, right?
Right.
So his whole investment was in what we could see and what was physics and what was in the material plane. So it doesn't really hurt me that he was a material atheist.
Mm-hmm.
The notion that he believed that the spirit or soul, if it existed, died with the body. There was no after to that. He also didn't believe in telepathy either.
Right.
That's because that would have to infer that there's something more than just the material.
Yeah.
But he was a materialist. I'm not going to be mad at him because that's what he believed in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he was a master of that. He mastered a plane. I haven't mastered any plane, so I can't say anything.
Right.
But
we have our theories that we love. Can I get real quick into this?
Oh, yeah. That's a part of it, too. Yeah.
What relation to Trump was the guy that investigated his apartment after his death?
It was his uncle.
Okay. So, the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, his uncle. There are theories, and I read this. I ordered a few books when I was on third shift at the Factory of Sadness about Tesla. One of them was supposedly some of his journals or writings from his aides. There were AIDS reports, not like HIV AIDS, but an aid to Tesla. They wrote that he had been observed several times in his room. I just posted earlier on our Facebook page and on Instagram the famous picture of him in the room surrounded by electricity.
Yeah.
Arcs of lightning. Mm-hmm. And they said that he had figured out a way to go forward or backward in time. Right? Yeah. Now, these are historical documents.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. But if you look at the fact that his Donald Trump's uncle was the one that sifted through all of his paperwork. Mm-hmm. One might be led to believe that they held on to a patent that had something to do with time travel. And the whole conspiracy theory behind this is you can find a book from the 1890s titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. And it's a child with the same listless look, with a similar dog, and he's holding in his hand what appears to be a fucking fidget spinner. And it also, they used this conspiracy theory to talk about how it was that Trump was able to, easily bat off political opponents.
Yeah.
By saying things that he knew for a fact would fuck them up.
Well, I heard something just today about that when it comes to word magic.
Yeah.
The notion of the name alone, Trump.
The Trump card.
The Trump is word magic. The word Trump is word magic.
Yeah.
Because it literally implies that it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. They're going to overpower you with it.
Right.
Real quick before we go any further, I wanted to do this little thing that he put in the New York Times for Thomas Edison, just to give you an emphasis on how much he hated the man.
But of course.
This is, of all the people who weighed in on Edison after he died, Tesla was the only one that gave a negative opinion. And this is what he had to say about Edison. He had no hobby, cared for no sort of amusement or any kind, and lived in utter disregard of the most elementary rules of hygiene. His method was inefficient in the extreme, for an immense ground had to be covered to get anything at all unless blind chance intervened. At first, I was almost a worry witness of his doings, knowing that just a little theory and calculation would have saved him 90% of the labor. but he had a veritable contempt for book learning and mathematical knowledge, trusting himself entirely to his inventor's instinct and practical American sense.
Savage.
Man, vicious.
Vicious.
You can't put that in a tweet.
Drinking some of that hate sauce.
All that sweet hate sauce.
I have a little shout out for the end.
Okay.
Just,
and I think we're getting up on that. So.
Just to end the topic, I should say. But everybody should check out teslasciencefoundation.org. I couldn't find any places other than, I believe New York has a Tesla museum, and there's one supposedly in Colorado Springs. Now, I remember watching a video of a Tesla Tower demonstration, the one that sparks the electricity around in Texas, but I couldn't find a website for it or anything. But TeslaScienceFoundation.org, they talk about, preserving the history, some of their upcoming events and all these things. So the Tesla science is still well in motion. Yeah. But it's not getting the proper attention that it deserves. No. However, Elon Musk did just donate $1 million to a new Tesla museum. Which is cool.
Interesting.
Even though he's probably a robot.
He's a good robot, though.
He is a good robot.
At least in a certain sense. Yeah.
We're going to need electric wireless power when we take over the planet.
All right. I think that does it for us on the show. I think it's been a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it has.
I was super pumped about this topic.
Oh, yeah. We'd like to thank you all for listening. We'd like to thank our new Patreon contributors and our current Patreon contributors.
All y'all.
All y'all. Check out our Instagram, Facebook, our website. We have a website. Message us. We've actually been getting messages from people, which is awesome.
It's been blowing my mind.
Yeah. People like real adamant, and I actually love it. Keep messaging us. We love it. We'd like to thank Ryan Simpson for letting us use his music on the show. Go check out his new album. We hope you tune in next time, and we hope you enjoyed our little dialogue on Nikola Tesla.
We love you.
We really do.